Okay, I'm going to open this 5:20 hearing based on the request that we received for our previous action that we took on the property at 2355 48th Street Northeast. Based on the Ohio Revised Code, the homeowner had the ability to be able to make appeal. And I have to be absolutely honest, that 15-day thing, I know why it's there. It gives the homeowner the opportunity to hear something. But unfortunately for us, it kind of ties our hands because, you know, we have to set that meeting pretty quick. And I think that's what happened here. We set it quick and because we had to, based on the law. And unfortunately, she didn't get an opportunity. So I just thought the best way to do this would be to request from her what it was she was actually looking for in writing, and then during this hearing we could decide where we wanted to go from there. And Chuck, you don't have that letter handy, do you?
I have it here on my...
Yeah, could you maybe, I do too.
Is that
so
from her?
It's from her. So if we could, if we could read that.
Yeah, it's in your notes too.
Okay.
Where?
Oh, the letter is?
Yeah.
Oh, the letters
Okay,
in the
oh,
notes?
perfect, because it needs to be in the record, that's good.
Okay, good.
there it is.
All right, yeah, very good, thanks. You know, basically what she says, in all fairness to her, and let me back up for a second. For the record, Trustee Hawes is absent because of an excuse, because of a previous commitment. So he will neither be here at the hearing nor our regular meeting, but I'll make that announcement.
Probably should
also.
make that announcement at the beginning of the meeting too.
So we did receive this letter that was from Mrs. Allison, that she could not be here, but we can't just arbitrarily cancel the hearing. So she did send us this, asking us to either postpone or reschedule. I think we can fulfill her wishes there. She also states, my husband and I are planning to repair the shed as soon as the weather permits. So I understand that. I think that's a reasonable request. We will be replacing the roof and the walls where necessary. And I'm assuming that's exactly what we're looking at, right?
Yeah, most of the damage is the roof.
Yeah, okay, so she obviously has indicated that. If we cannot make the repairs, then we will tear down the remaining structure, which also would be a compromise for what we need, so that would be okay. But the next sentence is kind of what I was focusing in on, and it says, I expect to have most of the work completed by the end of May. So here's just my suggestion, would be to simply, based on her request and the fact that she has stated, here are the things that we're going to do, if this doesn't work out, we're going to do this, would be to, for us, extend the time frame of the hearing, which is what we did for Mr. Mathis, target a date after that May date, so we can see in fact if she has completed anything, done anything, torn it down, sending her a letter indicating what took place, with the understanding that we will periodically, over that period of time, just make some site visits to see how that progress is going, so that we will at least have some evidence that work is either going or not going forward. So just my suggestion, what does that sound like?
No, it's good. I like that she gave a date. She said the end of May. Now, providing that between now and May the weather is somewhat decent, that gives a person a chance to go out and work on it, I'm okay with it. But we got good weather, always up to May or close to it, and I don't see a progress being done, then we got an issue. Because she stated that by the end of May, she hopes to have some of that completed. But she also stated if it can't be done, she'll tear it down. So I think we have something to work with. And as long as if Tom, you go out, or whoever goes out and sees that, hey, wow, it's getting close to May and she's got half the roof done, then we got something working on, just like we did with our.
Right, we can keep you updated with
Yeah.
pictures.
So I'm perfectly okay with it. I think they deserve another shot since she is out of town. Plus it came up quickly, like you said, so I'm perfectly okay with it.
So to maybe just make this official, June the 11th would be our first meeting in June after that end of May date. What do you think?
Well, because she's stating the end of May, so June the 11th would get her here at a hearing, correct?
Sure,
Yeah,
yeah.
And how do we do, now that she's not here, we just send a letter that we're stating on record that we're setting a hearing for June the 11th, and she would be notified, and so she would have to be here,
Yes,
okay?
and I think we need to, in that letter, request that, when is she back in town, did that letter say?
yes.
She'll be back next week.
Okay, I think just for purposes of our record, next week, are you the one talking to her, Chief?
Yeah, I'm not.
Whoever's talking to her needs to get her agreement on that June 11th date.
Right.
Because
Yes, no, you're absolutely right.
otherwise statutorily, we need to do things differently.
Yes,
And what that would mean is we would circle back at the next meeting if she doesn't agree to that. And I would say, I would advise you to go ahead and issue the abatement, which you could then hold off
Correct.
execution of. I don't think we need to do that now because we're still within the time frame.
Gotcha.
and I would agree with that, because it also does say with agreement
Right.
between the two
And
parties.
at any time, she can give us that
So,
consent.
yes.
So if we get that next
Correct.
week, we're okay.
All right.
Okay,
We need that letter for them.
Yeah, I agree.
exactly.
And we need to send our letter certified.
Not now, I don't think. I think we need to, at this point, I
Just
think
get
we
her
can
letter.
just get her letter that she agrees to that date.
Yeah.
And we won't have to get that
Good.
expense.
So, then, in that case, do I need to do this by resolution?
Yes,
In that case, then, I will make a resolution. We don't have one
I
ready.
think we have one we can fill the date.
Yeah, I don't think we can do it till the public.
Yeah, we have it on the agenda, unfinished business
Yeah.
number
Oh.
one.
Yeah, we can't do
We
it
can't do
until
that
we
now?
do the
Okay,
meeting
so
meeting.
I guess then to end the hearing,
I thought this was the meeting for this.
Oh, yeah,
base-
it
we
is the
scheduled
meeting for
this.
this.
We can do
It's
it
been
now.
scheduled
No.
and published.
Yeah, let's do it now.
Yeah.
yeah,
I
I
like
think
that.
that's what we did
Yeah.
with Mr. Mathis. I
Because
think.
this is.
Because while he was here during the hearing, we kept
We kept-
shaking heads
yeah,
back
we-
and forth.
we-
Yeah, we're all-
Despite our lofty attendance, this was actually noticed, and it is.
Yeah, it was in
So-
the paper,
Yes.
so,
You can
okay.
put that,
So,
put that date in there.
That's what really.
Where would the date go? We'll go on here,
Yeah.
the 11th.
Well, I gotta change the date also. To
Yep.
June.
And we're fine doing this, right? Because she's
Yes.
stating May,
Yeah.
even though we don't
The
have
only
her
wrinkle,
agreeing at this point. or we
as
don't
I
have her
read the
sign-
statute, the
Yeah.
only wrinkle could be if she doesn't agree to the June 11th date. And then at our very next meeting, we need to issue an order.
Absolutely,
Okay,
Just saying it's coming down.
yeah.
okay.
That's the only wrinkle.
yeah.
If that letter gets out soon, right?
Well, she's gonna, I think it's more important we talk to her,
Okay.
and then she gives us something about it.
Okay.
I think that's the more
Okay.
important step
Okay.
at this point.
Makes sense.
We can make a phone call to her,
You can wait till she gets
And
back.
I think
and-
she, it sounds like she's in full cooperation.
make sure she's okay with
I
it,
think
and
it's
then we
just
can
the
get
way
back.
she sounds.
Yeah,
The key word that she said, if they can't fix it, they're tearing it down, so they're gonna make an effort.
yeah.
Maybe, that looks like
Oh.
it.
Okay, so let me just read this then.
Yeah.
Whereas the Plain Township Board of Trustees have received a letter from Lisa Valentine Allison stating she will not be able to attend the March 12, 2019 hearing and is requesting the hearing to be moved to, but she isn't requesting that. We are.
She's requested the hearing be moved,
Yeah,
so we are therefore moving it.
okay. So, as a part of the resolution, we would like to extend the hearing move to June 11th, 2019 at 5:20 PM regarding the property located at 2355 48th Street Northeast, parcel number 52-02779,
At what time?
5:20.
Okay.
Now therefore be it hereby resolved by the Plain Township Board of Trustees, will hold a public hearing at the Plain Township Hall, 2600 Easton Street, on Tuesday, June 11, 2019 at 5:20 regarding the property located at 2355 48th Street, parcel number 52-02779.
I'll second that,
It's been moved and seconded, discussion, roll call.
Mr. Lino?
yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes. And then.
Just make sure that whoever's responsible for advertising the hearing advertises it again.
And then, since all business is finished from the hearing, we will go in recess until the regular meeting at 6. Correct.
Thank you.
Very good.
Call this meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, welcome. We have the agenda before us. Is there any changes, corrections, deletions from the agenda? I know the first will be unfinished business, and that is going to be deleted. Anything else? I am going to add under concerns of trustees, Stark County Health Department. Anything else? Hearing nothing else, we will move to new business.
Thank you. Item number 1 under new business is for the Board of Trustees to approve and authorize payment to Ellsworth Auto Body Shop for repairs made to a sheriff's vehicle in the amount not to exceed $5,000 from Fund 09A09.
I will so move on new business 1.
Second's been moved and seconded. Discussion?
Yes, this is from the evening of the terrible windstorm. A huge tree fell in the road. We're lucky that the sheriff's deputy missed that and was able to swerve. The $5,000 is a high estimate. It will come in lower than that, but we just wanted to leave a cushion, and we're just glad that he is safe and okay.
Excuse me, you would have mentioned
Oh, yes.
trustee Halls.
Let's take care of this first, and then
Okay.
I'll come back to
Very
it.
good.
Okay. Anything else? Roll call.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes, thank you, by the way.
Yeah.
Just as an announcement, Trustee Haas could not be here this evening. He had a previous engagement, so he has been excused from the meeting tonight. So it will only be Trustee Lino and myself. Thanks. Number 2.
Yes, item number 2 is a resolution to approve and authorize payment to Axum Enterprises for tasers for the Sheriff's Department in the amount not to exceed $5,053 from Fund 09A07.
Okay, I will move on new business number 2.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion?
Yes, now that we are fully staffed in Plain Township, which we're happy about, our new deputies need to be fully equipped like the other deputies in Plain Township, so we need to purchase these tasers. Coming down the pipe, we're going to get a quote for additional lasers too, as our department has expanded.
Nice. Very good.
Okay, roll call.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes. Thank you. That takes us to the fiscal officer's report.
Does anybody in the audience have an issue for the sheriff?
Oh, I'm sorry. Is there anybody in the audience that may have any issues that they want to address with the sheriff at this time, since we are on the sheriff's part of the agenda? Okay, having none, we will move to the fiscal officer's report. Mr. Wolf.
Thank you. Fiscal Officer number 1 is a request for a resolution to authorize the payment of pending warrants in the amount of $62,305.08.
I will so move authority to pay.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 2 is a request for a resolution to authorize payment of regular payroll in an amount not to exceed $250,000.
I will move on fiscal officer number 2.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 3 is a request for resolution to authorize payment for the following medical claims.
I will so move authority to pay.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 4 is the financial report for the month of February. If there's any questions, I'm available after the meeting. Fiscal Officer number 5 is a request for resolution to authorize the following transfers.
I will move on fiscal officer number 5.
I will second it.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 6 is a request for a liquor license from Tienda El Torito LLC, located at 3300 Whipple Road Northwest, Canton, Ohio 44718.
Yeah, that's right in that area where Grinders is.
Yeah.
Yeah, close up in there, yeah.
And then,
Okay, ready
is
to
this the
open.
one that we kind of looked at before where there was a question on distance from St. Mike's School? So I think that must have been resolved, so
Yeah.
no issues there, so I would think we want to
Yeah,
move forward with
forward.
that.
Sounds good.
All right.
That concludes the Fiscal Officer report.
Next on, that takes us to the Administrator, Ms. Campbell.
Thank you so much. I have a resolution before the Board of Trustees to authorize payment to Earthenwood for hauling of yard waste in an amount not to exceed $3,625 to be paid from Fund 01A26Y.
And I will so move on Administrator 1.
Second's been moved and seconded. Discussion.
Yes, this is the final payment for the cleanup from this past season. And
Sure.
the site actually looked really good. I mean, we were able to
Good.
get out the majority of the stuff out, so. And again, we have the money secured for next year, so we'll be good to go.
Very good.
All right, anything else? Roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
And that ends your administrator report.
Thank you. That takes us to the Fire Department, Chief Schallenberg.
Thank you. Item number 1 is a resolution by the Plain Township Board of Trustees to authorize the purchase and payment of one Ross U mechanical CPR device from Boundtree Medical per attached quote from Fund 28805.
I'll move on FD number 1.
Second?
Been moved and seconded. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Item number 2 is a resolution by Plain Township Board of Trustees to authorize the purchase and payment of ballistic vests and helmets from STC Black Cloud Ops per attached quote not to exceed $5,000 to be taken from Fund 28805.
And I will so move on Fire Department number 2.
Now, second's been moved and seconded. Discussion. Chuck, obviously, we live in a different world today, so.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
The vests expire every 5 years, and we went ahead with the helmets just to be a little more proactive with the kind of rescue task approach for, active shooters or et cetera, so.
And like everything else, training and the philosophy of how you go about doing that changes up and down, and now we're like doing what? Quick get in, get out, get to whatever patients that we can, and you really don't like to think that we are doing that kind of catastrophic planning, but, our society is a little different out there, so we need to not only be better prepared to serve our citizens and, our fellow law enforcement people, but obviously make sure our people are safe as well, so, it's a necessary evil, I guess.
Yeah, unfortunately, yes.
Yeah. So, anything else? Roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Lino?
Yes. Must have got his hair cut down. Were you there for that one? Nice, very good.
Item number 3 is a resolution by Plain Township Board of Trustees to authorize uniform allowance blanket for the purchase and payment of uniforms, uniform accessories in the amount not to exceed $25,000 to be taken from Fund 28A06 for $18,000 and Fund 10A09H for $7,000.
I will move on FD number 3.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Item number 4 is a resolution by Plain Township Board of Trustees to authorize payment to Ward Diesel Filter Systems for a no-smoke direct source capture, diesel exhaust, installation, and equipment per attached quote to be taken from Fund 10A08.
I will so move on Fire Department 4.
I'll second. It's been moved and seconded. Discussion. Just give us the Reader's Digest.
Yeah, basically we're getting all of our stations compliant for NFPA for diesel emission. These allow us to go right onto the vehicle, giving a little more space at the new station They go right onto the truck, they're a filter system. So we did some work with the mechanics and other fire departments, did some research. So for our events there, I won't have hoses and et cetera down on the bay floor to make it look a little more aesthetically for the crowd, and it's cheaper in the long run than all the electrical and hardware we have to put in because of the height of the ceilings.
So we got a FEMA grant to cover all the other stations, but because this one, based on FEMA requirements, was too new,
Too new.
That is
we
correct.
weren't able to get it, so this is the alternative.
And this was all the talk at Safety Council. I mean,
Yeah.
all the
Cancer.
vendors were showing this, right, because of cancer awareness, but you couldn't go anywhere without hearing about it.
I like the chief spoke to me today, and I like that, so what's the maintenance on it? Well, according to his research, these things can go up to 3 years. And what, a detection light or something would come
Yeah.
on just saying that filter needs to be changed, but didn't you say you saw an entity that did almost 3 years on one
Yeah,
of these
yeah.
gadgets?
Most of the fire trucks are lasting 3, the med trucks, year and a half, just depends on the usage and mileage.
We use
you know.
those so much more.
So it's a good thing, and then he gets a warning showing that it needs to be changed, so it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Roll call.
Mr. Lino?
Yes,
Mr. Sabo?
Yes. Thanks, Chuck. That takes us to the Road Department, Mr. Iacino.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, item number 1 is by the Board of Trustees and direct the Highway Superintendent to place an ad for road materials in a newspaper published in Stark County in general circulation in the township on March 21st and 28th, with the bids to be received and opened on April 11th at 12:30.
I will move on Road 1.
second,
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Lino?
yes.
Item number 2 is just an update for the board that the Linford project started again Monday. They're moving along quite well, and hopefully all the pipe that we have for this project, part of the project, will be installed by the end of the week.
Good.
Nice.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get that put.
Yes.
That's
Sure,
for
where those people need relief.
Yeah. Okay, good. Next.
And item number 3 is a resolution by the Township Board of Trustees to authorize the purchase of an engine and parts for the tandem Unit 20 from Truck Sales and Service and various vendors not to exceed $15,000.
I'll move on Road 3.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. That takes us, go ahead, you have something?
I was impressed talking to Joe today, and it's just, we're lucky, but he said our mechanics, they're gonna be able to put that motor in and have it fixed within a week. You know, that's pretty cool, you know that we got mechanics that can rip out engine, put in engines, and have that thing back up and running. We're lucky we got good mechanics.
Yeah, we got some good ones, that's for sure.
I would agree.
Save us a lot of money.
Yeah. Then that takes us to zoning, Mr. Ferrara.
Thank you, sir. Item number 1 is a resolution to declare item A as a nuisance abatement matter.
And I will so move on zone number 1.
I'll second. It's been moved and seconded. Discussion.
I have some discussion.
Is that the one?
I would like to point out to the board that we did get rid of that bin that we had at Diamond for the clothes collection. There are places where you can donate clothes, furniture, etc. in the township. There's Goodwills, there's Habitat for Humanity may pick up. Everywhere we have one of these blue bins, we end up with a nuisance abatement, and it may be something for Tom to talk to the board about, to consider not allowing those in the township, because it's us who come and clean them up. You'll see computers there, you see furniture there, you see mattresses there. And that's not what it's for, but it ends up like that in every situation, and I think it should be a consideration that we don't allow those.
Wow.
We do have that, you passed a resolution not too long ago, adding that text.
That's,
To our zoning.
and this is for clothes, right?
For donation bins.
Putting all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, it happens at every place, and there are so many services that will come pick up your clothes, or you can drop them off, same with furniture, but these, we're spending our money and our people's time and energy into cleaning these areas out, because it's not being used for what it
That's
said
too
it
bad.
is. So maybe it's
Yeah,
time to
unfortunately,
implement that.
any one of these facilities that are open and are not monitored are just attractions
dumping
for
ground.
people to come and pull something out of their vehicle and set it down
Yep.
and then leave. And,
It's too bad.
So Tom, you're saying the language is already there?
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, we did that. I'm
thought
hoping
so.
that all that language we did, all we have to do is declare it a nuisance or under zoning and,
Yes.
yeah, okay.
This particular one is difficult because that's at the
Empty Starfire?
the Starfire
Well,
gas station.
I'll go get the number on that blue bin and have it picked up.
And the owner, as you know, won't get involved at all.
I'll call and have it picked up. I'll give you the number.
Okay. Anything else? Roll call.
Mr. Lino?
Yes,
Mr. Sabo?
Yes. Thanks, Tom. That takes us to parks. Mr. Steinberg.
Thank you. Item number one, just a housekeeping, to amend resolution 19-105 for field paint from Pioneer Athletics to read as opposed to 04A, 05C, actually say 14-A-05C.
I'll move on parks one.
second,
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Lino?
yes,
Item number two is a resolution by the Board of Trustees to authorize payment to Hubbard Sanitary for the installation of a new lift station pump at the Diamond Indoor Sports Complex, not to exceed $48,4912 from Fund 14A04B.
I will so move on parks number 2.
I'll second. Been moved and seconded. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Lino?
Yes,
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Thank you. Item number three is a resolution by the Board of Trustees to approve and authorize payment to Montrose Ford Lincoln for a transmission rebuild in the amount not to exceed $4185.95 from the General Fund, Fund 01B07.
I'll move on parks 3.
second,
Been moved and seconded. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Lino?
yes,
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Thank you. Item number four is a resolution by the Board of Trustees to approve and authorize payment to Kevin's Property Services for the stump removal and tree service at Diamond Park in an amount not to exceed $4,000 from Fund 14A08.
I'll move on parks 4.
second,
Moved and seconded. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Lino?
yes,
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Item number five is also a resolution for Kevin's Property Services for tree and stump removal at Veterans Park in an amount not to exceed $2,500 from Fund 01F02A.
I will so move on parks 5.
I will second. It's been moved and seconded. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Lino?
Yes,
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Thank you. And the final item tonight is a resolution to approve and authorize payment to Rice's Landscapes redefined for mulch at Veterans, Alpine, and Diamond Parks for the playgrounds not to exceed $3277.50 from the following funds: 01F02A and 01F02 from the General Fund and Fund 14A08 from Diamond.
I will move on parks 6.
second,
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion.
Yes, we have applied for a $500 grant, though, to help offset the costs. And hopefully we'll find out in a bit if we get that, because we do this several times a year because through our risk management, the mulch has to be at all times a certain level in those playgrounds.
very good.
We usually, this is the time of the year we usually start on this end.
Yes,
So
it
we
is.
usually start in
Otherwise,
March,
they get busy.
Oh, yeah, it's
and
too
then we
late.
usually have to do it again toward the end of summer.
Yeah.
Very good.
Roll call.
Mr. Lino?
Yes,
Mr. Sabo?
Yes. Okay, moving on. Thanks, Rob. Moving on, we have nothing from the law director, no communications. So that brings us to the portion of the meeting of public speaks. If there's anyone in the audience that wishes to address the board on any issues, please stand, state your name and address for the fiscal officer, and then you can stay where you are if you want. You can come up here, however you want to do it, whatever you feel comfortable with.
No problem, I think I'm loud enough. My name is Emery Barish, 2525 Kingswood. I just have a couple questions. Can I have any question about the park levy? I know it's coming up April, the next town hall meeting, right? But that's already determined that it's gonna go on a ballot, right?
Correct, yes.
See, in relation to that, I'd like to ask, why was the meeting last time at Avondale?
So we could have one on one side of the township and
Alright.
one on this side of the township.
Okay,
So
I'm
we
not
can-
gonna ask too much because it's, that's already But see, I would've liked to ask, I don't wanna go with that, I would've came over here. Why is it, I think, Mr. Haas made a statement that's the most feasible, put it on the homestead or homeowners, you know, of the levy. Is there other alternative beside, you know, homeowners, like sales tax or something, instead of, you know, just, like this one gentleman said, we are on Social Security, I mean, you can just pay so much. I mean, why, you know, just the homeowners supposed to pay for it? Because other people use the park system, you know, if I may just ask that one question.
I think it's a fair question. So let me start with one part of it. When you start talking about income tax, townships legally can't do that.
No, I'm talking about sales tax.
Or sales tax, I'm sorry. We can't
Either
do
one?
that. No, we can't.
No sales tax, no
No.
property tax, I mean, income tax.
Correct.
Okay, one of my son told me that that's probably the
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah.
But
We
it's,
don't have that.
you know, I mean, you know, like my neighbor and myself, you know, I mean, we on a fixed income. And I know they just say, well, it's just $50 or $75. I understand it, but my property tax keeps going up and I don't have any raises. So, you know, I like to ask like the dog parks and everything, are they free?
Yes.
Well, maybe somebody got to charge for it or something, I don't know. Or, you know, that's my opinion, you know.
Yeah.
If you want to use it, every time you use something, you should pay for it. I mean, why the homeowners got to pay for all this other stuff, you know? It's, to me, that don't sound too fair.
Well,
That's a fair question.
yeah, so let's get back also a little bit to, you know, how all that starts to develop. Parks, obviously, through a lot of the information that we get back, improve the quality of life for the people here. So the opposite to that is, there will be an argument that good quality parks are going to increase your property value, not decrease it.
I understand that.
So we look at the community as a whole. We can't just, you know, cherry pick, we look at the community as a whole. And what we realize is we get a lot of requests for our current park activities to be expanded upon and improved. And as we see that, the only way that we can determine whether the majority of our citizens want parks or don't want parks is to put it on the ballot. I don't care how many surveys we would take, the informal consensus, we would never really know the accuracy of that, and there's only one way of the accuracy, and that is, first of all, to decide amongst us, debating all these issues that you just brought up, because we're hearing you loud and clear. We hear that from a lot of people. And we say, so is this going to be an issue or isn't it? The only way that we know whether that's going to be an issue is to put it on the ballot. So, by doing that then, and then people coming to these hearings, or I'm sorry, these presentations, it gives them an opportunity then to look at it and say, well, maybe it is worth it, maybe it isn't worth it. So that's the process that we chose to take.
I have no problem with the park system. I mean, I know we need it and it's nice. I mean, I use that once in a blue moon with my wife. But like I say, the homeowners are getting the brunt of it. You know, every time you get something that we got to pay the extra money. And I think, you know, on my part, it's not quite a fair situation because other people from all over the area uses it, and I'm sure not everybody is a homeowner. You know.
Well, and we could say that about all our services that we provide, that, you know,
I know.
and unfortunately for that, it just comes back to, you know, whether they rent or whatever, the owners of those
Well, I don't know
properties
about,
are still
renting, but I
paying
think other people too.
property
you know.
tax. So, you know, it's a pretty fair, equal system in terms of, you know, it's just, you know, can some people afford it or not, you know? So I would only encourage you to maybe come to that next meeting so you can at least see. It sounds like you might already have your mind made up.
No, I'm not. I read the articles. Like
Yeah.
I say, I would like to go to the previous meeting, but like I say, I don't even know
Yeah.
where the place is at Avondale. So,
Sure,
okay, I have another question
sure.
about the waste recycling. I was just telling my neighbor, I said, I hope this is a misprint. The date from May to June okay, what we supposed to do on the other times with our yard waste? Just like I called the township a couple times when we had this pretty bad wind what was it, a week or so ago? I had so much stuff, I said, where the heck am I supposed to take it? What am I supposed to do with it?
Yeah, we kind of somewhat have the same dilemma. For the longest period of time, we were able to supply or provide that service for next to nothing because it was pretty much free to us. The grants covered it. People wanted that yard waste.
We need it.
Well, yes, but I'm saying that there were people out there that actually took that yard waste. So it was easy to get rid of. Now, nobody out there wants yard waste. So to haul it somewhere is just, I mean, it's really expensive. So right now, we have to look at what grants are we getting compared to how long can we keep that open to be able to exercise that in some way to at least make it open long enough that, you know, the residents can come there. But what we can't do is right now, with the cut in the money that we're getting, we just can't keep that open for that duration of time for that amount of days per week.
Well, I have a question, and I don't know, you know, what, you know, just like you cannot do income tax or probably, I mean,
Sales tax. And
Okay, now, I mean, I was talking to my neighbors, you know, and I said, well, can you assess every household, I don't care, $10, $15 flat rate, then say, hey, we need this? I mean, I don't know nothing about the township law, so I'm new at this. I just like to say, hey, well, let's do something that we can keep it open, because my grandson tells me, like, he goes to Jackson where they got one open almost year round.
well,
I don't know exactly.
yeah, let me just say that part about Jackson. So when we take the grant money, when we take the grant dollars from the Joint Solid Waste District, we have to leave that, we have to agree that that site will be available to any county resident. Jackson chose not to take that grant money. They're still going to do it, but no longer will anybody but a Jackson Township resident be able to go to their site.
Well,
Now,
I don't have no problem with that kind of stuff. I mean, that should be just plain township over here also.
so
I mean,
some of the things that we're looking at,
You know.
and I can only speak for me, I can't speak for the board, and I would never promise
Well,
anybody this,
yeah.
but that park levy has the ability to be able to free up some dollars that would allow us, perhaps, to offset some of the money that we're getting from the Joint Solid Waste District, that we could creatively create a program for Plain Township residents, similar to what Jackson has.
Well, I mean, you know, we definitely need it, and I personally say, hey, I'm selfish.
Yeah,
Let's have the Plain Township people have the, you know, waste management situation, and everybody else, well, you gotta fend for yourself. And I think, you know, it would be nice if we can, you know, almost, well, I don't wanna say year round, but even right now, that wind situation, we could have already used it, even just for, let's say a few weeks, or maybe a week, or a
Sure.
few days, or a week, you know, to take it over there.
sure.
Because now it's open in May. Heck, I'm already start trimming trees. I gotta take them branches someplace, and I don't know what to do with it. I
Well,
can't
we
burn
made
it.
that argument with the Joint Solid Waste District, and their answer back to us was, throw them in your trash containers, because it's legal to
It's
take
too,
it to a
it's too
landfill.
much. I
Oh,
I would
know.
have to, you know, I mean, last time I had
I
7
hear
big
you loud and clear,
doggy bag, you
believe
know. I mean, I could not, you know, I'm just saying, I could already use it, even if not now, just temporarily, say, hey, take it over there, because we had emergency.
Sure.
You know, I mean, I like to see something, if it's for Plain Township only, so be it. Somebody have to check it, you know, that it's only Plain Township residents. You know, I think, you know, it would be fair, because, we need some place, where the heck I'm gonna take it? I can't burn it.
But
yeah.
so far with the yard waste though, it's been always that we do a winter shutdown because we have to clean that place out. I mean, it just, and we always open in May. Now, we said.
I thought we opened earlier, I'm sorry to cut in.
No.
I thought we opened earlier,
Oh,
already in May?
Now,
It's
yeah.
been May, but now when we say to June, That's just for us, because last year we were open the entire season.
Right, right.
It's just to evaluate, given our grant dollars, where we're at with the levy, to see what kind of fundings we have. It may just keep on going, June, July, August.
Well, we definitely need something because most of us homeowners, you always have something. I mean, I don't talk about grass cutting. I mean, I got a few trees and all that, and branches break down. I got a neighbor's branches, elderly lady. We got to do something with it, and I can throw it in the truck and bring it down. But if I don't have no place to take it, I can't burn it. So I mean, we sort of have a little problem. You know, I like to see it. You know, if it's for Plain Township only, so be it. I mean, I thought it was just Plain Township only anyway.
No,
Sure.
You know,
no.
I think that they should do it that way.
Yeah, and everything you said is very valid, and trust me, we're very open to a lot of things that you've already have shared, we've already discussed.
Okay.
So let's hope, and again, we can't promise, because that's not what we do, but let's hope that what you said has been something that we've discussed, and hopefully we can make it work that way. Because, you know, it's funny, but that is so popular. And what's sad is, because I live in the West End, when they took 38, when they took that away, worse, that hurt.
Right.
Because you've got all of Avondale that's nothing but tree area. And those people now are forced to come down this way also. It's sad because this is all we've got. And it is something that people really do need. I like it because I'm always working out in my yard.
Yeah.
And we're open to all the things you said. We're evaluating, we're hoping that we can, maybe we go May, June, and maybe July. It's almost like this.
Like I say, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Need some place because
Yeah.
I'm trimming my trees and I gotta take them, duck them, some big branches off, and I ain't got no place to put it. I mean, my trash container just takes so much. I mean, it's not big enough for all my stuff that I cut off. I mean, you know, like I say, if that's for Plain Township only, well, so be it. I'm selfish, I'm sorry about that, you know,
that's
but,
okay.
I think that's,
Actually,
you know,
that's one of the things that has been discussed.
you know, I think it should be fair to the Plain Township citizens that, hey, it is what it is.
No, all the things you said are very fair.
Thank you.
So again, just following up, we're kind of watching what's going to go on in Jackson and kind of see how that unfolds, you know, maybe they find the secret to how to do it, and then we just pick it up from there and do it here.
Are they given, has Jackson given a fee yet?
No, we know that you're gonna pay for a card, and they're gonna be a fee, but we're gonna watch that closely and see how it works. Works out great, works for them, the board's already said, then that's something.
But see, I don't know till my grandson told me, he said, we can take it over there, but he said they probably check you if you're a township
They do.
resident.
They will.
I said,
They
that's
will.
fair.
They will.
Yeah.
You know,
They
it's
check
fair.
your license.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I don't have no problem with that.
And they are gonna have a fee, but we don't know what it is.
Yes,
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, those are excellent points.
Everything you
and,
said was excellent.
Makes
Yeah,
sense.
so, Mr. Barris, thanks, first of all, because, you know, that feedback helps us. You know, because
Appreciate
it's probably the general consensus of a lot of people out there, and like they say, we've discussed all this stuff, so
Yeah.
don't think that, you
Yeah,
know,
we
your comments
definitely
fell
need
on
some
deaf
place to
ears,
go.
'cause- yeah. Anything else? So we have another person in the audience. Are you here for a school project?
Yes,
Okay, so, you have any questions? You're here for what, government, AP government?
of course.
Nice. So, what school?
Central.
Okay.
That was Central.
Yeah, we get
Central
Central.
likes us. I like
Yeah,
Central likes
Yeah,
us. Good.
some of your peers have been here before, so, you have any questions about anything?
I don't think so.
Okay, so I'm guessing you need something signed, right?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so, after the meeting, which is not gonna be very much longer, make sure you come up and one of us will sign your paper for you.
Thank
And oh, by the way, if you want proof that you were here, this whole meeting is videotaped as well, so, all right. Well, welcome, thanks for coming. Anything else? Then that takes us to concerns of trustees. I just want to quickly say that in the annual meeting, if you remember last year, we brought up about the proposed increase rate for the health department, and this was the year it was voted on. I will say that we did have a quorum, 17 townships, 3 cities, and I want to say 4 villages have representatives, and it passed unanimously. And so that's going to increase over a 5-year period starting next year at And so the end of the increase, by the time it gets to the 5th year, that will be a total increase of approximately $20,000. So we are looking at an annual rate that we pay the health department about, well, it's gonna be $200,000 a year. Is what our share, just Plain Township share, for the cost of our part of the Stark County Health District. But obviously it's paid on a per capita, so all those other communities, 17 townships, 3 cities, and I wanna say 4 villages maybe, are paying also on a per capita. So that is passed, so it is coming. All right,
Very good.
anything else? Concerns of fiscal officer?
No concern.
Okay, so we do have the approval of minutes for February 26th, so I will move for the approval of those minutes.
And I will second it.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Oh.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes, so we do have a need for executive session. Be it hereby resolved by the Plain Township Board of Trustees, Stark County, Ohio, to adjourn at executive session at 6:35 PM from this regular meeting of 3/12, as authorized under the Ohio Revised Code 121.22G for the purpose of the consideration of, for preparing for, conducting or reviewing negotiations or bargaining sessions with public employees.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.